This is Chris McGarahan with an audio update for Friday, January the 23rd, 2015. Firstly, we are a couple of weeks away from the cruise. Very, very exciting to everybody who has registered. Make sure that you have filled out the second registration that goes to the cruise line. If you haven't already done that, make sure you do that. Otherwise, you won't be able to get on the ship. If you don't have access to that information, please contact the events department immediately and make sure that you get the second part of that registration filled out for the cruise ship. Next, we just completed, very early in January, our first 3 free Saturday seminars. We had one in Dallas on the 10th, and we had 2 on the 17th in New Jersey and Denver, respectively, by Blaine and Troy. And we've had tremendous feedback on those. I'm just going to encourage everybody that if you get an opportunity in your area to go to one of these free Saturday seminars, go, because the information is all new stuff. It's fantastic. And again, we're receiving great feedback on that. Now, the topic today on this audio update is the Gin Young Entrepreneurs program that we have in Gin. And I'm going to give you some very interesting data on this. Firstly, entrepreneurship in general is on the rise worldwide. And this is very, very exciting because it ties into the Global Information Network very directly. Specifically, young entrepreneurs are on a very significant rise worldwide, but all entrepreneurship is on the rise. Now, I just want to touch on this from a young person's perspective, first of all. Now, because of the internet and because of accessing information very, very easily, young people can start businesses with very little money, very little risk, and start to get their businesses going, where they couldn't have done this really 10 or 15 years ago. And the best way to learn business is to actually get into business. The challenge with getting into business, of course, is spending a lot of money and taking a lot of risk and not having access to information. Well, that has now changed. And social media is the #1 factor for the rise in entrepreneurship, social media. Obviously, that goes to the internet as well, but just social media alone allows young people to start businesses and test things that in a way that they couldn't have done 15 years ago. Now, here are the stats, everybody. There are 7 billion people in the world, approximately 7 billion in the world. But the vast majority of those 7 billion are in developing, or what is referenced as third world countries. So a combination of developing and what is referenced as third world countries. Now, the entrepreneurial bug appears to be spreading globally, not just in certain types of countries. In every country, Africa, for instance, is absolutely exploding. India, Pakistan, these countries are exploding in entrepreneurship. And according to the latest Global Entrepreneurship Monitor from Babson College, there are nearly now 400 million active entrepreneurs around the world. 400 million. That's the highest percentage ever compared to the world's population. There are 400 million active entrepreneurs. Now, this survey polled hundreds of thousands of people from 18 to 64, this survey that was done from Babson College. And approximately 163 million women now are what's called early stage entrepreneurs. 163 million women. That is the highest, by far, number of entrepreneurial women that has ever been recorded. 165 million are young early-stage entrepreneurs. That's 18 to 35 years old. So 165 million of the 400 million are young. And 65 million entrepreneurs have programs or products that are creating 20 or more jobs in their companies. 69 million offer new, innovative products or services that are, again, new to the market. Excuse me. Never been done before, these products. 69 million are brand new products that have never been seen before. Now, a lot of those may be in technology, but they're new products that have not been seen before. This is very exciting. Now, there's two major factors, I touched on this earlier, that give access to this rise in entrepreneurship. And the two major factors are access to information on success principles via the internet. I'll say that again. Access to information on success principles via the internet. And then the other one is social media, which is used. Now, this is very exciting for the Global Information Network. And here's why. Because it tells us that we are ahead of this curve. Remember, I touched on success principles. In fact, there is no other club of this type as comprehensive as the Global Information Network regarding success principles. There just isn't another one that's scalable and can be accessed worldwide with this amount of content. So the question regarding young people in the Global Information Network is, number one, do they understand and comprehend the information, and can they apply it? So here's the question again. Can young people in the Global Information Network, do they understand and comprehend the information that we share, and then can they apply it? Well, the answer to those questions, those two questions, is yes, absolutely. Much like when, for those of us who are maybe a little bit older, and let's say we get a new computer or a new iPhone, and there's something that we just can't figure out on it. We don't know how to get to this app, or we don't know how to work that or set this up. What do? Well, we ask a 12-year-old. That's what you do. If you have access to a 12-year-old, they will come and figure that out for you in seconds. Bum, bum, bum. That's how it's done. They just seem to intuitively understand and know what that app means or that program means, and then what to do about it. They just know. So I have a 12-year-old daughter, and if I have an issue, I go to her. She figures it out, and then I have to tell her to slow down and show me again so I can understand what she did. And this has just baffled me for years. How do they intuitively just know what to do, and I don't? I have to learn it and take time and understand it and click the wrong thing and do it 4 or 5 times wrong, and then call my daughter. So they intuitively understand and know what it means to do because their brain was raised on this, and mine wasn't. So they have neural pathways that are developed regarding technology that I just don't. And I think that applies to most people that I talk to. Well, here's the important part. Exactly the same thing applies to the information that we share in Gin. Young people get it. They absolutely get it. And I've just observed this over the past 4+ years. They absolutely get it. They know what it means. They know how to apply it. And it just seems like they maybe understand it faster. So here's the point. Share the information in the Global Information Network with your kids and grandkids. Don't be afraid to share this with young people, prejudging them, thinking, well, it's too much for them. They won't understand it. They do. They get it. And again, this is based on what we've seen in the Global Information Network. This is not a theory over the past 4+ years. Now, we all know that on the training balance scale, that 90% is the why, and only 10% is the how. Here's the opportunity, everybody, for the Global Information Network and for you that want to expose this information to people. Again, we know it's 90% of the why and 10% is the how. most of the training that is done on the internet regarding success is focused on the how, which we believe is only 10%. Because if you don't have the why, there is no how. So there are companies that solely focus on the how that literally have grown tens of thousands of a percentile, focusing just on the information on the how. One of those is called lynda.com. Well, they solely focus on the how, and that company has just grown very, very successfully. But they have courses or classes online on how to do an Excel spreadsheet. They literally have hundreds of topics, but it's all focused on the how. We really are the only club that is scalable worldwide that focuses on the why. Because again, we know that the why is much more important than the how. And the how won't work unless you have a big why. So as I've been studying this over the past 6 or 7 months and really looked at the data on this, you'll understand and you're going to see this young entrepreneurship program growing. We're also going to be focusing on ladies only. But there's a method, everybody, to the reason we're doing this. We have a long-term plan for the Global Information Network, and you're going to be seeing, again, in our under-promise and over-deliver methodology, we're not going to be talking about it, you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing here to grow the Global Information Network. And this is all going to be bringing tremendous value to our members. So with that, I just want to give you an update on some very exciting statistics and, more importantly, how we can utilize that information in the Global Information Network. This is Chris McGarrahan. This has been our audio update for Friday, January the 23rd, and I look forward to seeing you at an upcoming event.